right, welcome to my guitar lesson for you today. This is Paul Gilbert, and I have drawn on my whiteboard a piano keyboard. You've probably seen these before, even if you are a guitar player. It's a pretty common sight. And one of the things about the piano keyboard is it's very logically laid out. You've got two black keys, three black keys, 2, 3, 2, 3, and that's sort of the pattern of the piano. The nice thing about that, if you're a piano player, is if you learn a scale, it always looks the same. You only have to memorize one shape. Whereas with guitar, depending on which string you start on, which octave you're in, the shapes can really change, even if you're playing the same notes. So I came up with a technique where you can actually play the same shape. First of all, let me do this. I'm going to draw, even if you're not a piano player, you'll have to believe me that this is the note A, right there. I'm pretty sure that's right. So, a way you can remember that is to relate it to the black keys. There's three black keys, and it's sort of, a little bit to the right in the middle. And so here's also an A. It's easy to find those octave A's because of where they are in relationship to the black keys. Now, on guitar, the A, everybody knows there's an A here. But the next A, isn't so logically laid out. It's actually, there's one here, and I'm going to do the next one over here. So those are all the same note. They're just an octave apart. And that will sound like this. You can hear it's the same note. Those are all A notes. Now, it's valuable to memorize that shape, because anything that you do that's if you do a small lick that's based around this, you can do the same lick based around this and based around this, and if you do it on just two strings, each of those are tuned in fourths, so you don't have to change the shape at all. To give you an example, here's a really simple one. If you do an A power chord, root and fifth, two notes, you can do that also based on this one, and also based here. So the shape of your hand stays the same each time. You can make it a little more complicated. Maybe let's do an arpeggio based on this. Let's do a major arpeggio, just triad. Same thing based on this one. Same shape. It's very easy for your brain to do this, because you only have to memorize one shape. If you finger that arpeggio the same notes another way, you might be going like... And it's a little more complex for your brain. Not as much position shifting, but I don't mind position shifting. I'll do it if it makes things easier for my tiny little struggling brain. You can also make the position shifts, you can use them for your sonic advantage. Try sliding into them. Makes it easier to get there, and it adds a little bit of style. For descending, that's a nice sound too. And I'm using pull-offs to try to make it easier to play so I don't have to pick everything. I want to give you a bunch of examples of ways you can use this for your solos. First of all, that power chord one, if you play the notes separately, that's a pretty cool sound. Let's try that in a couple different places. Like if you're doing a chord progression, maybe a heavy metal chord progression that goes to F. That's a cool way to get up those intervals really fast. Let's actually add a couple notes to that. Let's make it an F Lydian sound, which would be, I'm going to pick these three notes, or 4 notes to give it a Lydian tonality. F, A, B, C. And then we'll find the F octaves using this same principle, just starting an F. I'm finding them all with my second finger, because technically that's where my lick starts. Second finger again, second finger again, always starting on F. You can hear the Fs, they sound like each other. And let's use that sliding technique to make it a little smoother and easier, and sounds cool. That's nice. Let's try a couple more. This one I really like. This is in the key of E minor. And it's going to start actually on the 5th step of the scale, B. I'm going to do B and D, 5th and the 7th. And then I'm going to do E, F sharp, G. The root, the 9th, and the 3rd. So it's 5 notes. Now again, the important thing is my first note is B. So I want to find the octave Bs. All with my first finger, because each time I got to start the lick with my first finger. And I'm going to do those 5 notes, starting on each B. Find the B here. It's always the same shape, so there's really very little to practice. It's just a matter of jumping between those 3 octaves. That's a nice sound. It's got a wide range to it. You're going all the way from this note to this note. So that's a wide range of notes. Whenever you play an arpeggio or a scale or this sort of thing, and you just go straight up, sometimes that pattern is not that interesting. If you can move around a little bit by throwing in some licks, let me try to improvise a little bit like. That might be a little more organic. I didn't really plan that out. I just used some of my regular, sort of legato. Picked one of the notes twice. That's useful to get the most out of a lick. So you're squeezing a lot out of 5 notes by getting them in all those different ranges. Let me give you one more. This one is for rock players, kind of an unusual sound, but it's very useful actually. It sounds very impressive music theory-wise because it's a minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, and I'm going to play it in the key of. Nothing, what else but C sharp. This would be the chord that I'm trying to outline. And I'm going to start on the 7th, and it sounds like this. 4 notes. Suddenly it's not so difficult because all it is 4 notes, and they're pretty easy to play. B, C sharp, which is the 7th in the root, and E and G, the 3rd and the flat 5. And again, B's our first note, so we're going to base each one off that octave B. Find the next B, next B. Now, I'm no good at explaining music theory, so I won't try too hard here, but this chord actually sounds good over an A7. So it's a nice substitution. And I'm going to actually add that A note sometimes as well. I can even slide. Start on the octave A. Start on the octave A. And that's a cool sounding kind of fusion-y lick over an A7. It's a great way to visualize arpeggios without having to learn really complex shapes. I like the way these rhythmically phrased. They tend to work well for 16th notes because it's a lot of 2-note per string. And almost any tonality that you want, if you want to get a mixolydian with a suspension in it. You just pick out the basic notes, take it up an octave, up another octave. A great way to get around the neck. So use the octaves. It's using the simplicity of the math of the piano on the neck of the guitar.